So I've been telling people I was going to make this video for months, and I just have never gotten around to it. And that all ends today. And today, we're getting off Google Chrome and Chromium and any of the Google sign-in products because, well, I've been trying to de-Google my life, and the web browser is the thing we have to tackle next. We've done Nextcloud, we've done the notes, we've gotten off of Dropbox and some other proprietary things. The web browser is what this video is about, and we're going to jump into this one. So I'm going to talk about two browsers in this one, but I'm only going to showcase one because I haven't gotten on the other browser to really do it, but I want to give it as an option because there's going to be some things about this browser that may turn you off, and I want to make sure, you have alternatives because we always should have choice and options when it comes to what we choose. So with all that, we're going to talk about the Brave browser. We're going to do some screen sharing and show you kind of what that's about in my journey off of Google Chrome. So how did this video come to be? Is this a sponsored video? Because so much about the Brave browser on YouTube is sponsored videos. And the reason why I chose Brave is specifically you get rewarded for browsing the web and seeing ads. You actually get paid. If you recommend the Brave browser and someone clicks on the little link that I put in the description, I get paid. So it is a reciprocal kind of thing. So if you go to my website, christitus.com, and say, I really like this creator and I have so many of this BAT token that the Brave browser gives out, I'm going to go ahead and tip this website. So you could go to christitus.com, tip it, and it would come directly to me and I'd get paid for that. So I want to just get that out and just clear the air and just say, hey, no, Brave hasn't paid me to make this video, but I'm probably going to get paid because there's going to be people that click this link. So I just want to come right out and just say that's what's up with the Brave browser, because many people have said they'd like to tip me. They'd like to use those Brave credits to reward me as a creator. And I'm like, hey, that sounds cool, but I need to actually jump on Brave and use it. And that's what I've done. So how is the browser overall? What do I think? And overall, I think it's a pretty good browser. However, I know people in the community that don't like it. And I need to address those issues as well. And I'm going to do that after I jump over on the desktop and kind of showcase the Brave browser. And then we're going to talk about an alternative and one that I've researched and that I'd recommend if this doesn't appeal to you. So this is my studio PC. I've just installed the Brave browser because I want to show you kind of like the out-of-box experience. And I gotta say, you definitely give up some convenience when you're switching from Google Chrome, because Google Chrome, it's so nice just to hit turn on sync, sign into your Google account, and it just downloads all your extensions, bookmarks, all that. Now, Brave has some type of sync service, frankly, it's not very good, but I want to explain its shortcomings here in a few. But just know that the sync service really only applies to the bookmarks on an already established Brave browser. So you have to import all yours, and I'm going to show all that. So let's go ahead, launch into the Brave browser. I've pretty much redone it as my default on this one. As you see, you get this. This is possibly my favorite thing about Brave is the start screen. I really like this. It has all of the things I go into. So Monstercat for a lot of my background music on my live streams and intro and outro music. I like to use them. And then Notes is what I use now for all my things. Now you'll notice I'm not signed into here yet, but Nextcloud Notes is what I use for a lot of my note taking and what I do on these videos. So I really like this, but I use LastPass and some other things that I've tried initially when I got on Brave to get rid of. I actually tried to completely get rid of all my extensions. And I came out and found that it was just a big pain in the butt. I tried to switch it out to KeePass from LastPass because KeePass is an independent program. And it just messed with my productivity too much. I had to give up too much convenience to get that security that I was looking for. So I said, forget it. I'm not doing dropping my extensions. I need my Google Chrome extensions. And this is where a lot of the hiccups come into play. Now, one thing I didn't mention in my intro is you can always use Firefox. It's completely different. And if you're good with Firefox and you like Firefox, by all means, have at it. I've just been on Google Chrome for so long. I'm tied into so many of these extensions that a lot of times don't have cross-platform to Firefox. So that's why I usually am staying on there. And we're going to install all these extensions in this video just so you can kind of see my base setup. But first off, let's configure Brave, because this is what you get out of the gate. And there's a couple things I like to change. So we're going to settings, and we're going to take a look here. So you can choose where you last set off, open a new tab, or you can go ahead and say a specific set of pages. I like to just leave this on new tab. I don't like to continually open up wherever I left off last. So that's one thing I change. Brave colors, I like the dark color directly out, and I like the classic. I don't like to use GTK because, well, I'm a KDE user, and GTK is more for the GNOME people out there. But if you're using GNOME, you might switch over to GTK for sure. Other big things, use system title bar and bars. You kind of want that because you'll get these double X's and it'll get kind of ugly. So I like to tick this off as well. Hide the Brave rewards button. This is this little guy right here. And if you click it, you can see your balance, which, again, I have like a link to where I get rewarded if you click it. But I'll leave that down below unless I forget. But anyways, that would be where you actually store your BAT token that people can tip you. You can also get BAT from watching Brave ads, which is a little odd, but it's a thing. So I'm going to get to that here shortly as well. The sync can be done via sync. Now, this is a very odd thing. They don't actually store and can look at what your sync data is. And the sync right now is only bookmarks. So you can either use the Brave sync, which frankly is not very good. You can see I use the Brave sync already to sync my inside Brave browser on my main production machine I've been using for the last week. And it didn't get a lot of my icons. I have to visit these sites and then it'll fill in, and then I'm like, okay, cool, that works. But overall, I was just like, you know, I really wish this was a little bit more of an actual sync. But needless to say, it does still pull over the bookmarks, and it's one less extension you have to install if you want to use the sync. So what I like to do when you first launch it is import everything from Google Chrome. This gives you almost all the bookmarks that you need. So continuing back down here, so we've got sync, kind of covered that. Now, when you do your sync, it's weird in the fact that your initial sync that you import all your bookmarks from Google Chrome on, to sync that Brave browser to another computer's Brave browser, it gives you what's called a seed. Now, if you're familiar with cryptocurrency, you're used to seeds. So for me, it was very easy, but it's almost like, I think it's like 22 random words that they spit out, and then you take these 22 random words and paste them in to the sync on the new computer, and it'll sync back and forth. There's no actual username and login information, and Brave is unable to see what bookmarks you have, but it's a good way to sync kind of between computers. However, this is almost like a peer-to-peer type sync, so it's a little weird. That's why I say I'm not a huge fan of the sync, but it does make me feel good inside that there's a little bit better security revolving the sync, where Google just kind of holds all your data and probably sells a lot of the things you actually do in the Google Chrome browser, where it doesn't look like Brave is profiting or doing anything with this sync data, which is a good thing. Shields, I really don't do too much here. I leave pretty much all this default social media blocking. I like a lot of blocking of this, like the Twitter embedded feeds or the embedded tweets. I absolutely hate these. This is the tweets that pop up and you're like, hey, what's the Saved by Bellcast look like today? And then you click on it and you're like, oh crap. And then you're like 30 pages deep and you still hadn't seen the photo that you wanted to see, or the clickbait to get you. Anyways, random rant about Twitter promoted videos. They are the worst as far as ad goes. So I always block a lot of that stuff. But this does a good job of actually ad blocking. And I really like it. the other thing to change is the search engine. Changing this from Google to DuckDuckGo. Many people in the community was like, hey, I can't believe you're still using Google. No longer, sir. You can't tell me that because I am actually using DuckDuckGo. Baby steps. I'm slowly getting there. And then you got a couple other things, you know, as far as web torrents, Hangouts, these types of things. I still use Google Hangouts, so I still need a lot of this actually enabled. So I leave all this in, and we have other extensions that we're going to add here as well. Now, over on the Brave Rewards tab, you can leave this enabled, and here is what we're talking about on ads. Earnings are paid every month. It depends on how much you actually use your browser. So as you're browsing, Brave is showing you ads. You're getting paid. How much this is, it's probably not much, but it's, you know, maybe a couple bucks every, you know, couple months or so. I don't know, as I haven't been on Brave for an extended period of time. And honestly, I don't really want to watch Brave ads, so I just turn them off because I don't care about earning money through watching ads. But for some people, it's like, I don't care, leave them on. They're not very intrusive or anything crazy. So I really like this ad system, but it's a big turnoff for some people. If you still want to use the Brave browser without ads, you can definitely do that, as I'm doing right here. And then you can say, hey, you can contribute, an automatic way to support publishers and content creators, set a monthly payment, and it'll actually contribute to them automatically. So I'm just going to turn this off. I would rather reward the creator I want directly. Like if I go to christitus.com, I can just tip that creator directly, which is me. But you can see all the different ways that you can actually do this, and then you can see your history of the things you've actually done and your bookmarks. You can arrange this a little bit better. So if I wanted to take this and push this over here, I could do that. So this is the settings in Brave. I really like this layout, but there's some things I need to do. So the convenience factor is not quite there on the import. You notice it grabbed all my bookmarks, but it did not grab any of my extensions. So let's go to the extensions and grab that. And you go to the Chrome store. Now I hear the cringing behind the screen right now, because guess what? Yes, you can totally install Google extensions into a Brave browser, which kind of defeats the entire purpose. So no, I'm not going to add Gmail extensions or Google Keep for notes or any of that type of stuff, because again, why would you even bother switching off Google if you're going to still use these types of extension services? However, there are some extension services I absolutely love. So LastPass, and this is on Firefox too, so most Firefox people don't need to switch over to a Chromium-based browser like Brave for this. So it would actually add this browser. Let's go back to our web store and see what else. There's a couple things for YouTube that I like to use. TubeBuddy is another one that I like to use for YouTube. It's one that I absolutely required. It shows me a lot of metrics. I can see creators that are doing well, creators that are doing poorly, and get good baselines on myself as far as what is considered good. Some videos will pop up and then drop down. There's a whole bunch of analytics that this helps me with. So I really like TubeBuddy in this regard. So it'll add that. Another analytics extension that I use quite often is vidIQ. And if we go to vidIQ, I can just add that. And before I get too far into just installing a bunch of extensions that I use out of Chromium and Google Chrome, I want to say, yes, this does actually produce a smaller footprint at the end of the day. And by smaller, about half. So if we look at my usage, it's using about 150 megs of memory, which sounds like a lot to many Linux users, but for us Google Chrome and Chromium users, this is actually a considerable improvement. Chromium and Google Chrome, a lot of times for me, was bloating to a gig or more in many instances. So this right here is actually really good memory usage. So it is better in this regard. I think that also stems from not needing a lot of the extensions to do all the ad blocking and script blocking and the security based things that are built into Brave. So I really like this as well. But again, if you don't want to use Brave, you can use Vivaldi and other projects that do a similar thing and bake it into the browser, because when it's baked into the browser and it's not running as an extension, it's just far more efficient directly from the system activity. So definitely check this out as far as that's concerned. So I'm not going to go through the entire extension store because I have about 3 or 4 more extensions I usually install. I want to go ahead and jump on my production machine from my Studio Arch machine, and we're going to go ahead and jump over there, and I want to show you what that looks like, just so you can see how that Brave browser is set up, and you can kind of see the differences as far as the sync goes, the other things I've set up. But the main thing about the sync that I really miss on the Google Chrome is the extension sync. I'm gonna have to set that up at each computer that I'm at, and I am gonna convert everything over. And whether that's Vivaldi or Brave or anything, I think all of them really don't have a very good Chrome extension sync. Only Google Chrome and Chromium do. So that's kind of a sad face and a convenience I'll miss. But after I really set up these computers, they're not gonna change too much, except for this Studio PC. I'm probably gonna have to set this up and do this every time I get in a wild hair and decide to wipe this out, which for me is about every month or maybe every week. I don't know, we'll see. But let's go ahead and jump on my production machine. Okay, so this is my main production machine inside. As you see, I've kind of switched over to the workspace methodology that I talked about in my last video, but you'll notice a couple things. One, my Brave's already running, just like Chrome would be running in the background, and I can easily go ahead and type into this. It's my main browser on my main machine. I've been running it for about a week now, so it is pretty awesome. You'll see I still have all the same stuff I've talked about over there, but it still looks pretty darn good. Now, as I visited all my bookmarks, they filled in those. This looks considerably better. As I use it more out here in the Studio PC, it'll almost emulate this exact same thing. A couple things I don't have is like my Keywords Anywhere and some other extensions I've added to my inside production machine. But I wanted to just kind of showcase both sides here because I do have it in 2 locations. Has that sync been perfect? It has when it comes to bookmarks, because I can come into here, I see my Nextcloud, all that stuff I have on my Arch machine or my Studio PC. But overall, I really do like this. I feel more secure than obviously using Google Chrome or Chromium. If I really had a recommendation and I really wanted to go fully secure and those types of things, obviously don't use a Chromium-based browser. Don't use Chromium-based extensions. This is more secure, but it is not all that secure compared to like a Tor or something of that nature that is built around security. So I don't want to give anyone a false sense of security saying this is the most secure browser on the internet. It's not. It's just more secure and better than Google Chrome or Chromium. So I just wanted to put this out there just to give you my take on the Brave browser, because a lot of people have asked me about this, and this is it. So now that you've seen the Brave browser, you see that you get paid for watching their ads, which is a little weird in my opinion. But at the same token, people do it, and they get this BAT token, which what is BAT? It's actually an ERC20 Ethereum-based token. And the reason why I know all that whole word salad I just put out is because I was really big into cryptocurrency, especially in 2017 and 2018. And I really got on the Ethereum train before it even left the station, so to speak. So I did really invest a lot into learning a lot about Ethereum, and I actually had a whole bunch of BAT when it first came out. However, all those days are gone. I sold it during the giant crash, which I don't want to really go into. That was not a good time. That was dark times. But with that out of the way, I understand that's not for everybody. So what I'd recommend is something called Vivaldi, and there's a bunch of other spins of this type of product, but they also strip out all the stuff that we're talking about. They have built-in ad blocking. They have a lot of the shields and things that Brave have to really make it anonymous. I really like all these projects. And out of the ones I've looked at that everyone sent me as recommendations other than Brave, I think Vivaldi was probably the most recommended and one that I think a lot of the people in the open source community really like. But, you know, with that, let me know in the comments. Obviously, if you have another suggestion, I always say make the comment. It seems like the best always rise to the top. Everyone goes through and go, oh yeah, that's my browser, thumbs up it, and then those comments rise to the top. So check the comments after this video, and you'll probably get other really good recommendations, as well as our community is so awesome in this regard, and I've learned so much from it. But that would be my recommendations if you didn't want to go the Brave route and deal with the cryptocurrency and managing that wallet along with like the bookmarks and those types of things, because overall, I think when you go with anything off of Google Chrome, it's just a heck of a lot less convenient. And you really only want to make this switch once. So it's very important to educate yourself what you want to do. So for the Brave browser, a lot of people don't mind the occasional ad, and most people don't even notice them. And they get rewarded for just browsing as they always do. So that's why Brave's really cool, and why I'll probably actually continue using it is not so much the money aspect. It's more or less, I really like their start page. I mean, the new picture every time, it's something I actually enjoy because I'm so used to Google Chrome. It's usually just a white page with the Google search bar. As silly as that sounds, that's probably why I rock Brave. Will I watch ads on Brave? Absolutely not. I don't like ads. I don't like seeing any ads. And I don't want to be thinking to myself, am I watching a Brave ad, or is this actually slipping through the shields and is that another ad? Those are questions I ask myself, and why I just say, no, I don't. I'm just opt completely out. And if I get any BAT tokens, it's from you or another person that watches this video and decides to tip my channel or tip my website, christitus.com. But that's my views on Brave. I just want to be as forthcoming as possible in this because I've seen so many YouTube videos over the Brave browser now, and I've seen so many people just get skewered about not being on the up and up and just being like, oh yeah, try the Brave browser. It's way more secure and better than anything else. And while I don't think this, I do appreciate the monetization aspect of it, and why I actually use it, and I actually like the way it looks. So that's why I'll probably actually continue using Brave. But for those that definitely are turned off by this aspect of it, try Vivaldi. I've heard really great things about it. But again, check the comments section because it seems like there's always someone out there that knows a little bit more and does such a great job of articulating that in the comments section. So look up for those thumbed up comments. But with all that said, I'm going to get out of here. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and a big shout out to all my patrons. Without you, I couldn't make videos like this one, and I'll see you in the next one.